Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Oh, and there he is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Please be upstanding. We are joined by royalty, fresh from the BAFTAs and his obvious win, Mr. Andrew Fettis. Drew Fettis is here. Congratulations, mate. How does it feel post-awards ceremony?
Mate, I thank you for obviously, recognising my talent and at the BAFTAs, but unfortunately you're the only bloody one because nothing, mate, nothing.
What,
I mean,
you didn't win any?
No, of course I didn't. No,
I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch, and I've read a few articles and stuff, but I assume I just missed your name in the list of winners.
You missed nothing, mate. No, you missed nothing. I mean, no, they were great awards. I mean, there's some lovely stuff going down, but none of it came my way. So I just have to put it on hold for another year. I mean, all I can say is that the end of this week, my reward this week is to be sat here with me podcast mate, and I would want nothing more, mate. They are.
Yeah. You're so full of shit. It's unbelievable.
I know, mate. Yeah. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, good productive week. Quite a few bits and pieces going on. A few bits of filming and some other stuff. So yeah, what about yourself? You've been busy?
Bits and bobs. Yeah, little bit of travelling for a couple of gigs, and yeah, all good, all productive. That's the main thing.
I mean, it is good to keep busy. We say it a lot, like we want to be busy all the time. I mean, we moan when our feet don't touch the floor for a bit, and we go, I just want 5 minutes to sit and have a drink or whatever. But being busy is what we strive for, because it means, number one, we're in demand, and number two, that there is work out there and that we're keeping a roof over the heads and whatever. But I think it is safe to say, and we have said it numerous times before about other people, but neither of us will ever be as busy as our visitor today. We've got a guest on today, and how he manages to keep everything running is an absolute mystery to me.
But I mean, he is an inspiration. I think is the best way of putting it. So yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, well, it's
looking forward to this.
An old friend of mine, someone who I've not seen for a little while, so it's going to be great to catch up. But equally to hear about, he's got lots of exciting stuff coming up, and all the things that he's done historically as well, and how they all knit together, I suppose. And equally, we're saying he is incredibly busy, and that will all be explained. And I guess, well, so I suppose there is only one way to explain it properly.
I was going to say, mate, he's so busy. We really shouldn't keep him waiting anymore, should we? Shouldn't keep anyone waiting anymore.
But right then, well, without further ado, let's let in our latest guest. And there he is, ladies and gents, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Reis Daniel is joining us in Drewling Samantics. How the bloody hell are you, mate? It's been forever.
I'm very well, thank you. I need that entrance everywhere I go. I like that. Like, turn up at my nan's house, and there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. All right, Nan, calm down. Where's the cottage pie? Yeah, I'm blessed, mate. I'm really good. I can't complain. Yeah, good.
With 10 seconds in, and already I know this is going to be mental, but Reis meet Drew meet Reis.
Reis, nice to meet you, buddy.
Pleasure.
Thanks for joining us.
Now people
Thanks
don't know.
Me. No one else wanted me.
Oh, bollocks. No, I was just going to say, people don't know, but we have been trying to get you on the show for, well, forever, really. So when we last worked together on a film, didn't we? We did a horror film.
Yeah.
So then it's got to be
2 years ago.
It's got to be 2 years ago. And we were already talking about it before that started, because we'd worked together years before that as well. But you're finally here, so don't be an anticlimax, mate. Is the
no pressure. I think we talked so much on that film that we had nothing else to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, well, we can't. What are we going to say? We needed 2 years to refresh,
Exactly.
get our juices flowing again, and then we can go off again. And then
Absolutely.
I'll see you another 2 years for the debrief.
Well, yeah. Till we're needed again. Till the industry goes on, we can let them two loose again. But no,
Okay, cool.
honestly, mate, it's an absolute joy to have you here. But rather than me kind of going into how we met and what went on and who you are, it's easier for us to get you to tell all our lovely listeners and viewers exactly who you are and what you do. So I'm going to hand over to you straight away, mate. Give us a rundown.
Who am I? Who is Reis Daniel? I'm your sister's favourite comedian. I'm your nephew's favourite actor, and I'm your mum's favourite role model. So yeah, I'm that guy. I'm an actor, comedian, and I run an agency, Freezer Crowd Management, who represents actors across TV, film, and theatre. And I am a father of 1, 2 fur babies as well. I've got a missus who still wants to have sex with me, and I'm living a dream.
Oh, mate.
That has to be one of the best intros we've ever had, mate. You know, I mean, that was. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Reis Daniel. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Good night.
Signing out. Lovely stuff, man. I know. I mean, we say you're very busy. We'll get to the agency stuff, in a little while, because that's very. I mean, that is a very interesting angle of actor running an agency and an actor who is as busy as yourself. Is there? What can you tell us? What have you got coming up? What can you do? What can you discuss? Or have you been hit with? I must not say nothing.
I don't
orders?
think so. I think I've been given a little bit of freedom. The actors that are in the series that I'm going to do, they're all posting it all over Netflix, all over Instagram, and they're all sharing videos. So I'm about to go to do a Netflix series set in the 1300s. It's a dark comedy, and I'm playing a little scallywag that likes to go to brothels, get in fights, drink and eat. So I'm playing myself, method acting at its finest. So I said to my missus, I was like, look, I really need to get into this role. So I'm going to go down a few brothels and see what happens. She hit me over the head and gave me syphilis instead. So we're good. We're good.
Welcome to the 1300s.
Yeah.
That's one way of getting
I've been quite blessed. I'm going to be honest with you. And my luck has really changed over the past year or so. Like, I've been slogging in this industry for 10, 15 years. And I was ripped. I was fit. I was training every day. I dedicated my life to it. And I was working consistently, but with jobs that weren't taking me any further. There was just, I say they're like the limbo jobs, the jobs that no one really gives a shit, but I was doing a lot of them. So I thought I was the shit, but really in the eyes of the industry, I was still relatively no one. And I think that until I had a midlife crisis, I had a breakdown, I stopped working out as much, I put on a load of weight, I started drinking a load of alcohol. The industry went, now we want you. That's what we were looking for. A fucking mess.
We need a big pissed black guy. Who are we going to get?
Yeah, you know what? You look like you don't get your hair cut. I love it. I love it. You're a scumbag. You're going to fit right in.
Just hang on. I saw for a moment there, and most people are listening and not watching on YouTube. But you have what are you drinking? What?
It's my chalice. So I'm trying to embody Cat Williams, right? So I thought for the festivities I'll have some gin, and I've got it in a golden protein cup. So this is so I know the measurements. You just got to keep track of your points, haven't you?
Wow. I'm not sure. I mean, we've had people drink interesting things. We've had wine and beers and coffees and teas. I'm not sure we've ever had gin out of a protein shaker. That is setting a standard. But to be fair, mate, I would have expected nothing less of you.
Yeah. Well, I did dry January, and I lasted until I said 28, like a leap year kind of thing. And so I thought this is a reminder that I should still be trying to keep fit, and I am trying my best. But at the same time, we live once, and not often I get to talk to friends. I spend a lot of time in the office. Everyone's work related. It's always work. So when in Rome,
Well, absolutely. Cheers to you, mate. I'm on the beer.
Yeah.
Drew's on the coffee.
I feel a bit weak drinking my coffee, but it is, it's very strong coffee out.
I love it.
It'll
Love the
be
cup as
laced
well.
later. Yeah.
Yeah. So as Drew said, one of the things we really want to come to is how you manage what you do. So you said you are an incredibly busy actor. You've always got jobs on the go, whether that's commercial TV, film, theatre, whatever. But equally, you run a very, very successful and incredibly busy agency. You've just said there you spend a lot of time in the office. How do you manage to keep the two going together and both doing so well?
ADHD. So I basically have a medical disorder. So help me keep it going. It's one of those things where when I started the agency, I didn't have the work, and obviously I had a child on the way, and I had responsibilities and bills to pay, and the industry was just chewing me up and spitting me out, and I had just left my agent, who was we'll get to that later why I left him, because he's a dickhead. But I kind of needed something to keep me in it, because I'm the kind of person that if I dedicate myself to someone, I go and do it, and I do it hard. So if I went and did any other job, even if it's working in Tesco's, I'll be the best fucking cashier they've ever had. And that's just the way I want. Like, you know what I mean? That is it. My life is like, I wouldn't be looking at the numbers. I'm like, yeah, that's £45, darling. All right. Got a club card? Yes. Zing. You know, I'll just be in the game. And so I needed something to keep me in this industry. And doing so is actually probably been the turning point in my career, because I'm seeing the industry from inside out, and I'm getting the first dibs on a lot of opportunities. I don't represent myself anymore, but it gave me the resurgence and the birth and the understanding of, okay, this is where I was going wrong. I was relying on my talent and thinking that I was just good enough to be there, and not realizing that I didn't have enough problems or enough flaws or enough quirks or boxes ticked to actually fit in any molds. Not that I came fat on purpose, but becoming fat was the turning point. But running the agency now is my lifeline. It's when I'm not acting, I hit depression if I'm not working a lot, because I'm used to it. My ADHD and my ego, I fall. Like my highs and lows used to be rapid. And I think with the agency, I'm constantly going. And I'm always busy anyway. And if I'm not doing that, I'm writing. And if I'm not writing, I'm talking to someone about creating something. And I've just always been that kind of person that has to have something to go. And it blossomed into a magical thing. Where the agency is now is not just thanks to myself. It's thanks to a lot of my clients that have stood by me the whole way. And a lot of them have been there for my 6 years. A lot of them started from the beginning. And then most of my friends that I've met along the way, people that I've worked with, that I've met on sets from being an agent, talking to them on that side of things, and then going, oh, my agent, blah, blah, blah. And I can defend their agent or whatever that may be, but I can give inside advice. And having that insider's view as an actor, I'm guiding people and going, don't make the mistakes I made. Don't do what I did. Work around this, and this is what you need to do, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm helping people achieve what I wish I achieved at their age. And I think I would have been a lot further in my career if I had someone like myself guiding me. So I can't take all the credit, because I think they make my life easier, but they also they've the agency saved my life in some ways.
Amazing.
Oh man, why am I crying? Shit.
Oh mate, that was beautiful.
Quick, have some gin out your golden cup. Quick.
Yeah, drink out your golden cup.
Yeah.
I mean, it's we all needs. I mean, we are. I mean, in many ways, when the unwelcome guest knocked on the door, a couple of years back, Sam and I, or Sam said, we were bored. We were scratching our asses going, we can't go out, we can't do anything, we can't work. And, the podcast was a lifeline for us for a little while, and then everything kicked back in again. And, obviously, I think that was a beautiful moment. I mean, that you are emotionally engaged with what you do, And I think we all are. And I mean, that to me means you care. And I mean, I we should all have an agent that gets emotionally involved with his, to that degree. And that, because I just think that's a testament to and if someone is that emotionally engaged, they deserve all the bloody success that you're getting and you're having, mate. So
appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll just gently blow a little bit of smoke up your ass while you get this.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Some of my ex clients might not say that, where I'm so passionate about it. I'm like, I'm on the phone to something like, Sally, I fucking want this more than you, darling. Yeah, pull yourself out the shit and let's get going. Or when they're doing tape and I make them do it 7 times, I'm like, it's not good enough. We do it again. I don't send out shit. Come on. And I had one girl, she did a tape 7 times. I know this is no word of a lie. And she got into Daliland. It's my good friend Irina. We met before and she joined the agency. She's Spanish. And she did a tape for Daliland and literally doing it over and over again. And she's crying. She's on the phone with me like, I'm never going to get it. Not realising that she was actually like 3 months pregnant. She didn't know. And I was just pushing the pregnant woman through hell, but she got the role the next day. So, well, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm not the godfather though, so I'm a bit pissed. Actually, I need to say a word about that. But it's a weird thing though with the. I'm sorry.
No, mate. No, go on.
Lost you again. It's a weird thing with the agencies where you're friends with people, where you started as friends with people, and then you become just business and just their manager, and that's a hard thing to process. Where I had one of my clients had a wedding the other day, and I've known her since drama school. We've known each other for over 10 years, and I've been an agent for 6 years. Last year, and I said to her, I paid for your wedding. I made her 15, 20 grand last year, helped her get 15, 20 grand worth of work. And she didn't even invite me to her wedding. And I was actually really sad. I was like, we're not friends anymore then. I'm just your manager or just your agent. But I don't ever see it as like that. These people are on my mind every day. I work every day for them. I work every day to help them achieve what they need to achieve. And yeah, they might not get an audition every day or every week or sometimes every month, but I'm still putting the work in every day. And if nothing comes from it, we're working for free. So if I'm not that person's friend, or at least they're someone they're confidant, then what the fuck are we doing it for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might as well just move on and waste my time with someone else. So yeah.
But that commitment and that engagement and that level of making sure that everything is right and putting enough effort in, obviously translates both from working with the agency and your own work. And you say obviously early doors, perhaps you were getting the wrong kind of roles, or you thought you were in a different place to where you actually were. But nonetheless, starting the agency has also helped your career and made you push yourself harder. So some of the stuff that you've done since, it's been amazing. Really, really.
You know how I got Dog? You know, Dog ate my homework.
Dog ate my homework was one I was going to mention. Yeah, fantastic.
Right. And you know what? A lot of my friends have stopped talking to me after that, because apparently, like, one of my best friends down the pub was like, "Oh, we watched it," and everyone's laughing. You're an embarrassment, because I did kids TV, and they all laughed at me and like literally fobbed me off. Basically, I'm not even joking. I've had about 4 or 5 of my friends stop talking to me after that show, and they're not my friends anymore, because they was only just going to be they're only just my friend because they thought I was going to be a big actor, and where that show they deemed it as not credible performance, they just like, I was never going to be anything, and they did literally. And again, I wasn't invited to one of their weddings. After that, we were friends. There was no qualms. It was out on my birthday, and then after that show, they literally just laughed at me, not realizing that show has been a massive catalyst, the thing that's actually pushed me to get all these other roles. And the producers of that show, the people who worked on that show, have put out such good reviews on me that other people come back and say, "We've spoken to blah 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 from Dog. They've said that you smashed it in the way you worked." And so we like, and if anything, it's been a thing that actually saved my career in that essence. But I got that because one of my clients, she did a profit share show, and it's called News Review, and it's at the Canal Cafe. Fantastic,
yeah.
Award-winning company, brilliant, and it's so funny. And she got into that, and she's one of my. And we kind of had to like convince her to do it. She's fantastic, but she went down there and completely smashed it to the point they get her back to direct it now. But BBC directors saw her at that show and they got her to do some sketches. Now they contacted the agency and were like, we're actually doing another show. We're trying to cast for this role in Dog. It wasn't Dog. It was, what was that improv show? Because I actually got into that first, and then cousin Rita stopped it. What was the comedy show? Improv comedy for kids back in the day. Started with Crackerjack. Crackerjack, right? Casting for the new Crackerjack team. And they went, look, we want Tash to come in and audition for it, but have you got anyone else like her? Well, I put a few people forward, and myself being one of them. So the first round for Crackerjack, everyone auditioned. I put 6 or 7 people forward. They all auditioned. 3 of us got through to the second round. Me, Tash, and another guy. This guy, John Oates, is a guy from around my area who I think he sees me as his arch nemesis because we're like the 2 guys that are getting into comedy. And like, he's never been a battle with me, but for some reason my man thinks that we're on a little fight of 2 stars. And I can put that out in the universe because he knows. He knows. But anyway, yeah, so we went up for it. And he didn't take it seriously, actually, God, and ended up messing about in it and didn't get a call back. But I was the only one that got to the final round, and I actually got into Crackerjack. And Tash didn't get it, who was the person they were originally going for. She didn't get it, and then Rona happened, and then they had to keep their old cast and not bring anyone else on. So I didn't get it in the end. I was like, oh, a bit gutted. 2 weeks later, I got a phone call. We're doing another show. Dog ate the homework. We think you'll be perfect for it. Can you do one more take for us, and we'll get you in? A week later, I was up in Scotland filming it, and it was insane because it was the way it was. Pardon me. Ooh, the gin is repeating. Because the way it was, I didn't see any of my castmates. It was just like in the room, down to set, do my bit, back into the room. So I was working alongside all the biggest comedians on the circuit at the moment because it was a panel show. So all the top comedians that are around doing the bits and bobs and making massive moves were all there, and I've got to like flit, and they got to see me do my bit, but I never really got to ground and work with them. So when I ended up leaving, it was such a weird thing that everyone's like, "Oh, we normally do a massive rap party. It's a shame you don't get to that." And I was like, all these things. Did I really live that moment? Like, I was there, but like I wasn't really there. And at the end of it, they found out that they knew that show was going to be wasn't going to be, it's going to be discontinued. They knew that beforehand. Yeah. And there's also rumours that obviously the CBC is closing down as well, which I think they knew. So I'm talking about having my own show and there's that. And they're looking at me like, that's not going to happen. But it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I lost people that were toxic in my life, which is amazing. And it pushed me into the right direction. Because I love, so it was good. Wow. What questions did you have to ask about it? What did you think?
Do you know what? I was just like, the query mainly was, was that always a route you wanted to go? Because obviously it's the combination of comedy, acting, and then obviously you've got kids TV in there as well. And you I mean, I've known you for a long time. You are the life and soul of a party. You're almost, your life is almost as big as your hair, like that. And you know when Reis is in the room, and you know, I mean that in the nicest way possible. You're just this energy ball. Is that where your career was always leading, or is it more a case of when that came up, you realised that was a point for you to focus on?
It really wasn't what I wanted to do, but it was the thing that I was always pushed into. And even now, I have people offering me like children's TV roles. My heart's just not there, and it's funny because my mum used to say to me, "Oh, you'd be brilliant doing kids TV. You should do kids TV. You'd be brilliant." Until I was on kids TV, and she's like, no, don't ever do that again. Because it's just not credible, but at the same time it is. I think it's great. The people that work on there are very talented and they're fantastic. But it's just not where my heart lies. I'm a Cockney geezer. I'm a little Herbert. I'm a scallywag. I've been round the block and back again. I've done it. I've been there and done that. I've had my years doing naughty shit back in the day, club promoting as well. I've just done it. And I think I've done too much and I've seen too much to go and just flutter my ideas and my things away with kids TV. You know, I want to do grittier things and I want to do something with a bit more depth. And I think every actor really says that they would like to do something that has depth and has a storyline and has strong characters. But I've been on set with a lot of actors that get those roles and want to do those kind of jobs that don't have it because they haven't seen it, they haven't lived it, they haven't been there. And I'm looking in their eyes and we're doing this scene and they're getting all, and I'm like, dude, you've never even seen someone have a fight before, have you, in front of your eyes? You've never seen this. Or like when people do drugs on TV, it's like, you've never really done anything before, have you? It's not saying that's a great thing, you need to, and blah, blah, but I'm saying that if someone's been around the block and back, then they should be able to, and they have this talent and they have this desire inside them to perform, and they should be able to share their stories and their wisdom on the others, you know, because there's a lot of people out there with no stories, no wisdom, that are showing their views to the world, and no one really gives a shit.
I think that's I like the idea. I agree with you. There are a breed of actors that there's no authenticity there. You know, it's like, why are you doing this? You know, because you're just. I mean, there's acting and then there's pretending that you're not actually even a fully rounded human being yourself. Do you know what I mean? So how that, you know, like, so you've actually seen and done nothing. There's no gravitas in any role that you're playing. And they I think they're becoming more and more obvious now. I think we're sussing those people out because there are a lot of people that, like yourself, that are very passionate about what you do. You're very good at what you do. You know, and you've got that life experience to bring to it. And there are other actors, you know, and I'd like to think with the stuff that I do, I can say the same. But you do look at people and go, yeah, you know, and I think people are getting more. I mean, you know, everyone's after their 15 minutes of fame or whatever, or 15 seconds in some instances, and you go, yeah, you're gonna go because you actually don't deserve to be here, and I don't really worry about you. So you're now going to have to go on in the jungle or on some Love Island and flash your tits or whatever, or your ass or your abs or whatever, because I think your tits are marvelous, Reis. I don't think you'd have any problem, mate.
Hey, £20 a minute.
Yeah, I just feel slightly scared that you might be on Love Island in your Speedos, and I don't think anyone's ready for that yet. Apart from obviously your missus, who loves you dearly.
She doesn't like me in Speedos. She likes me in
but yeah, you know, I just think, you know, I think people are getting sussed now, and I like it. I like the fact people are getting sussed. You know,
it's such a broad, because of YouTube, it's giving people a platform. It's giving everyone a platform. And I think that's great. We've got a lot of people coming through, and it's the same thing as everyone wants to get a bit inventive and creative. Fantastic. I think everyone should be able to release their artistic urges and spread them out to the world. But at the same time, I think that it puts people down a rabbit hole, especially like the black community. Oh, we keep getting typecast, we keep getting the same roles, we're always drug dealers, we're always gangsters. Da, da, da. Let's create our own thing. What's it going to be about? We're going to be drug dealers and gangsters. What are you doing? You're creating your own problems. And then what it is that they get a massive hype around them. So then you get Gavin from the country with his 3 little boys that live down the farm lane, like, oh, this is what we need to do. So now Gavin's a gangster with his cows and that. Like, yeah, that would be funny, actually. I'm going to throw a script. That's freaking hilarious. Gavin the gangster with his cows. What? Copyright?
Yeah, that's right. It's all yours, mate. No one's taking Gavin and the cows from you.
But I just think that there's this, it's just, TV's gone stale, and a lot of these things have gone stale because it's just the same thing slapping you in the face. I'm trying to word this around in a way that I can word it because I feel myself going down a rabbit hole. So I feel like we need to go somewhere else. So I feel myself going somewhere I don't need to go. Yeah. So we go back to Kids TV. So look, I love my time with Kids TV, and I think it really pushed me and propelled me in a direction that I am currently going in. Would I go back? Look, I'll never say never. If I'm honest, if I needed the money and needed the work, then probably. But that's not where my heart lies, and it's not where I can see myself ending up, and it's not where I want to end up, to be honest. No disrespect to anyone that does. That's their thing. It's not mine. if I'm honest with you, the role I'd love to be a comedic gangster that sells drugs because I'm black.
Oh no, you've just typecast. Shit.
No, but I never got those roles. I always get roles as like the fat computer hacker or the best friend or something. Even in film, understand I'm an illegal immigrant, because this is my problem where I used to stay in the industry. Like Famalam, they made a comedy show for black people and by black people, and they were all just Africans, and most of their jokes were just saying it in African or Jamaican accents. The actual context of the show wasn't funny, and I think they really dropped the ball in many areas. It could have been funnier, but everything was just ends, or like it's just either gangster or African or Jamaican. Like, putting the accent on it doesn't make something funny. The context of what you're saying is funny, and I think they dropped the ball so many times, and it could have been better. But that's just my opinion on certain things. You know what I mean? I just think there's a lot of areas that have been focused on over race, sexuality, this and that and the other, and they've become the focal point, and they've become the driving force. So the actual context of the piece is gone. And it's been pushed to the wayside, because it doesn't really matter what you're saying or you're doing, or it just matters that we're ticking these boxes. Okay, we're going to cut that bit out. That's definitely going.
I tell you what, it was interesting with Family, because I mean, it's a long while ago now, but good gracious me, got it right. You know, from the Asian perspective, from the brown, and but do you think there are so many? I mean, and things have to be taken seriously, and issues have to be taken seriously. But there is so much now that, you know, with cancel culture and you know, wokeism and all the rest of it, there's so much you cannot say, even if you're having a laugh. I mean, this is a big subject, but you know, the first approach to breaking down the barriers with anything, I think, is to laugh about it. If we can both sides can go, okay, let's have a look at this subject. It's a serious subject, but let's approach it with a smile on our face rather than with a broken bottle in our hands. We might be able to have a conversation. But I think I think there's so much pressure on writers and comedians and actors and performers to tread carefully around that. I think we're almost missing the chance to have a discussion.
And comedy's not funny anymore. Because everyone's so worried about treading on eggshells, that things are not funny anymore. And we're coming from a time where there was a Me Too movement. Thank God there was. It's a fantastic movement, and it's helped a lot of people, and a lot of people have been held accountable for their actions, and so they should have been. But it's the same time that men are now having to, they can't show any kind of masculinity because that's toxic masculinity, and things are this way and the other, and you've got to be very careful when you're doing comedy. But women's comedy is all degrading men and sexual, and it's the complete opposite. You've got singers out there that men only sing about sexy woman and love and da-da-da-da, but women are like, that man's trash, my ex-boyfriend. There's literally a song saying about I'm going to kill my ex-boyfriend. If a man sang that song, people go mental. So we're living in a time where that's how it is, and I think until society balances, things are not going to be set right at the moment. But you're seeing it in the castings. Like I put out a thing the other day, and there was literally a casting that came up. It was like, we're looking for a Chinese person in a wheelchair, amputee, part of the LGBT community, also knows sign language. I'm like, how many more boxes did you need to tick to find a role? Literally, that is every single box in one. And I think that they're trying to spread themselves so thin at the moment, looking for everything, that the focus has gone. And the focus to create good things. But there's so much good that's come from this change. But I think it's teetering. It's going so far one way and it's so far the other. It just needs to find a level playing field. We can't have a level playing field where a man talks about sex with a woman and it's seen crafts and it's seen this, and everyone's like, ugh, disgusting. Or if a man even took his top off, they're like, gross, how you taking his top off? But the best comedian of the year won playing the piano with her penis. You can't really have a level playing field. I think there's an endemic issue
in that there are a lot of people trying to do good and a lot of movements going in the right direction, but it's perhaps not being applied in the right way in the industry. It's like you're saying, you can say, do you know what, we're going to have colorblind casting and we're going to bring in more people of color, but not just to put them in roles that are typecasting people of color. Like, so you need to spread it out and you need to make it make sense. Equally, you don't do it at the detriment of the production. Like, you don't go, right, well, we need a character that does this, this, and this, but if we make them something that we don't see as much, or something that is not considered normal, and I know that's a horrendous word, you can't use normal because normality doesn't really exist, but it's just applying things in the right way and making that even playing field feel natural, rather than, as you say, swinging completely the other side and going, right, we're going to do everything to appeal to these minority groups or to these people who are slightly different to what we've experienced in the past on TV. I think that there are lots of things going in the right direction, but it is still a bit messy in the industry.
Yeah.
And hopefully...
I think colourblind casting is actually insulting. I think it's actually a disrespect to the whole cause. Like the thing where there was like a black dad, a white mum, and Chinese kids, and it wasn't even like they were trying to just play off at their leg. And I'm like, this is where things have gone crazy. Like when black people said they wanted equal opportunities, right? They just wanted to be seen equally. Why is there only like one black family in EastEnders where you go to the East End and 90% of it is black or Asian or whatever? We just wanted a true depiction of society. We wanted not things to be leveled out because we wanted to just show truth and have our own say and have our own grounding. But look at the BAFTAs this year. Every single winner, most of the nominees are all white. It's going to go back the other way because we've done the race thing now. Racing doesn't matter now. We've done it. We've ticked that box. You've got what you wanted. We've given you your year where everyone won your bits. Even people that was like, even I was like, why is he winning or why is she winning? Because that doesn't. But they were winning because it fit the agenda. And now that's gone. Okay, so now we need everyone of what sexuality are you? What this year are you got? You're a short type. Then that would go. So what's next? We're going to have to redeem ourselves with. There was a lot of roles coming out at the moment looking for Chinese people because they're trying to renew China's image after what happened before. And then obviously, is it going to be Ukrainians next? Is it going to be a massive Ukrainian surge because of the war going on there? Are we just going to keep turning people out to fit that, or are we going to actually just create great art again and find love and soul in it and just look? We want a level play field. Yes, we want roles for all these people. Yes, we want all these things, but let's just find an equilibrium and let it flow. But again, there's always that saying. It's funny time I say this with other people of colour and different sexuality, they often go, but there's always that white man on top that's trying to hold it down. And there probably fucking is. There probably is. But that white man on top is struggling and he's going to be dead soon. So who cares? You know what I mean? It's like, there's always going to be someone trying to hold it back. And there's not much you can do about that. But it's if we keep having teams at the bottom of the pile, then the top of the pile is never going to change. We're still trying to compete with each other at the bottom. It's even like we want everything for black people, and then it's just Africans, it's just people that are just Jamaicans, or just people that live in London. I went to an audition and went, "What's your postcode?" And I said Essex, and I went, "Oh, Essex. Oh no, this is London only." Didn't say that. Yeah, no, but we just want that London vibe. Yeah, but I was born in London. I'm more London than half of you, man. Like, no, yeah, but you have to leave. Did you come from this council? Like, it's just fucking insane. Like, we're living in a world where talent is coming third in the list to actually work ethic is fourth. You know, like where are we coming? Where actually the people that work hard, train hard, create great work are the ones at the top of the pile. That time's gone. But at the same time, that time is to come because that was that ever a thing. Probably not. So, you know.
Hopefully we'll get to that extreme. We'll go to that extreme, and then they say just before we go over the program, we'll pull ourselves back. For God's sake, I hope we do. I just think a fantastic. I mean, we're unfortunately nearing our time, but I really love sharing your passion, man. It's been excellent, wonderful stuff. I'm going to reel it right the way round. It almost seems ridiculous to say this, but have you got a funny anecdote we could finish on? I mean, let's forget the issues about sexuality, gender, race, and all that, mate. Can you just be funny now, for God's sake?
Do your job now.
Do your job.
Get back in your lane.
I was being funny the whole time. What are you talking about? I only cried 5 minutes into the podcast.
We've definitely been on an emotional roller coaster, and before you go into an anecdote or something, it's worth saying that this goes on to show even more why you've been so successful in what you do and why you're so passionate, because you can go from one extreme. You, like I said, you're the life of the party, you're the big boisterous, in your face, loud, everyone's mate Reis, but equally you're highly switched on, highly intelligent, and very passionate about the industry that you work in, and making sure that things happen for the right reasons, and that everyone is getting sort of a fair go. And it doesn't always work that way, but it's an absolute pleasure to see someone who is so passionate and so keen on that being the case. So, but as said, we do try and finish up with something a little bit lighter, something funny-ish, trying to redeem the negativity and the tears. No, I'm joking. Honestly, it's been amazing.
I had no idea I was going to get deep, and then I got on it. I was like, "Listen, I thought you was my psychiatrist."
No. Honestly, mate, it's been amazing to hear sort of both ends of the spectrum: the exciting, the bubbly, the high end, and pure love for what you do, and equally the things that frustrate you, and the things that you want to see changed, and the things that perhaps are a negative side of it. But let's spin the ending on a bit of a positive, or at least something a bit ridiculous or wacky. I know you've got millions of stories. You've told me millions of stories over the years, but hit us with something more specifically for our listeners and viewers, something that's going to just knock them out of the park. Go on, go for it.
I don't see. I've been thinking about so many, and I have so many weird experiences. But I struggle to find the funny in a lot of my experiences, because I'm always just having fun when I'm on set, and we're always laughing, we're always messing about. I think there's always going to be the one that stands out for me. It's when I was doing the cruise ships. I was playing Sammy Davis Jr. in the Rat Pack show, and I was brought in as a stand-in. It's amazing because, like, literally, you lived first class on a cruise ship for a week. And you just perform 2 days in that whole week. So you just live on the cruise ship. It's absolutely fantastic. But you come off that show, and I felt like Sammy, like, because 90% of the people on the ship are old, over 70, say, and old enough to know who he is. And you'd come off, and the stuff that would be said to me, like, it was bucket list stuff. And I was in the bar one night, and this woman was like, we were having a drink and we were having a mess about, and we had to play a few games on the roulette and different things. And this woman come over to me and went, "I loved your performance tonight." I was like, "Thank you so much." And she's like, "Yeah, just the way you really, like, you move like it, don't you?" And I was like, yeah, I guess. I've watched these videos and stuff, and she, next on my life, and I'm sitting on the stool. Her hand was that far away from my nutsack, and she was literally just caressing the inside of my leg. And I'm looking at her, and guys, when I say she's knocking on 90, about 85, like, lovely lady. I'm sure 60 years before, she would have been a stunner. But for me, I don't really look. I don't want to nut the dust. You know when you don't want to nut the dust off that pussy. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of want to.
Wow.
She said it's always been. Sammy was always one of her favourites. She's American as well. She's like, it's always one of my favourites. And I've always wanted to see what it'd like to be with a black man. And I was like, "Oh, you've never been with a black man?" She's like, "Oh, no. I was with my husband for when we was 17, and he's my only lover, and he's the only person I've been with." And I was like, "Oh, so is your husband here now?" Like, "Yeah, no, I've sent him to bed so I can come and talk to you." I was like, "What?" So she literally I felt she'd had this conversation with her husband, like, "Okay, look, It's on my bucket list. I haven't got long left. Because at the time I looked like Sammy, I had the skinny ass face and that, and it's just like he looks so much like Sammy. And if you see here, Gavin, he's number 4. So I want him to nut the dust off my pussy. And it got it got a bit intense. It got to the point where kind of no wasn't going to be the answer. And like one of the guys I was doing the show with had to kind of step in, and he was out chatting, having a thing, and she put like her arm around me, and she's obviously had a few sherries, and she kept kissing my face, and I went to go, and she had a vice grip on the arm. And she just looked at me like, you ain't getting out of this. And it was one of the funniest and scariest moments of my life, because I had to actually take a second and go, okay, Reis, you're going to have to get through this, because you're going to have to just fuck her and just make her life. But you know what? I'd found out the day before that every ship has morgues on it because so many people die. And I just couldn't get the vision out of my head of what happened if I just wake up in the morning and she's dead. How do I explain that to everyone? So yeah, I contemplated it for about 5 seconds, and then I realised that I just didn't want to carry a dead body out my room. So I thought I'd let her go on the way with a kiss on the cheek and wished her all the best. So yeah, that's one of the craziest moments of my career. It was enlightening, to say the least.
I mean, I almost thought beforehand of saying, do you know what? I know what Reis is like. I know some of his stories. Maybe we shouldn't ask him for an anecdote at the end. And to be honest with you, I'm still not sure if I feel that way or not.
I love it.
Wow. Certainly one that will live with you for a long time.
I've got pictures in my head that I don't want, so I'm going to have to go and...
Yeah, I've still got the pictures.
Yeah.
The worst thing is that you're actually doing when you see your life flash before your eyes. I saw the whole night flash before my eyes and went, nope, don't want to live that.
No. Wow. Well, I suppose then we'd better stop you at that point, because there's bound to be other stories that can only get worse as well. So, but unbelievable! What a story! And what a way to end. I think we've definitely been through it all from all different levels today.
It's been a roller coaster.
Oh, it's been such an enormous pleasure chatting to you. I mean, it always is whenever we catch up. But to be able to hear properly about your passion about the industry, about 90-year-old ladies on cruise ships and everything in between. Thank you, mate, for coming on. And
thanks for having me.
Speak for everyone.
Pleasure to meet you, mate. Absolute joy.
All the very, very best with the Netflix show. What you'll have to do is you'll have to come back on in the future again and then update us and tell us what's gone on. I mean, by that point we'll do that. You ride it.
Yeah, we'll keep it all jokes next time. But thank you so much for having me. We should do it over a pint, face to face next time. That'd be good fun as well.
And this is the interesting thing, and we've said to all our followers and subscribers, we really want to get out and actually be somewhere with our guests. Obviously we tried that with you, but we just couldn't make calendars meet up and stuff, which is a shame. But we are endeavouring to get out and about a bit more, do a bit more on location recording, and equally get in the room with guests so we can have a proper laugh and chill out and whatever, and not have a computer screen between us. But you'll be one of the first next time round. We'll
appreciate that. Thank you.
Somewhere and sit down, have a few beers, and get another recording done. But mate, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so very much. And watch out for them old ladies on cruise ships.
I might go and book a cruise ship. I need a little hanky panky. You about, love? Yeah.
But quick before anything happens.
I've got my own old lady right here. Don't worry about that. See you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Reis Daniel has left the podcast.
Yeah, how do you follow that? I mean,
I don't know, mate.
What? Genuinely, an absolute joy to have him on. It goes without saying, but equally, like I can't say that I was prepared for the sort of way it went and how all
where we went.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I mean, energy, passion, joy, very bloody funny. I mean, lovely guy, lovely. That was one.
Just very, very real and very, very invested in what he does on all levels and all scales. He's just
absolutely.
And yeah, larger than life, I think will always be the way to describe Mr. Reis Daniel. So
absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you, mate, for coming on. But I need a drink and I need to sit down. I mean, I know I'm sat down, but I just need to. And unfortunately, we have got a week to recover now before our next outing, which is just you and me, mate. So.
Well, it's not just you and me, is it? I mean, we do have something a little bit special, a little bit different.
It's
just us.
A slightly different episode coming up.
Yeah.
But I meant more a case of it is no one's visiting the podcast.
No one's dropping in next week. No.
And I think that's a good thing because we're going to need a couple of weeks to properly recover from Reis being.
I think Reis is going to last a couple of weeks, mate.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So, I guess that's pretty much all we've got left to say. I shall raise what's left of my beer.
I mean, coffee's going a bit cold, but there you go, mate.
Yeah. Thank you as always to everyone for tuning in, joining us,
Absolutely.
whether you're listening, watching, or whatever. Hopefully you'll all recover as much as we're going to try to now from Reis, who is a million miles an hour every moment. But next week, something a little bit different, but something you'll definitely want to tune into. So yeah. Until then, Drew, have a good week.
And you, Sam. Take care, everyone. Take care, Sam.
Later, everyone else. Ta-da. Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.